Hey, the Viceroy is in the House. Let's go ahead and play his cold open.
I mean, the fact is that the Supreme Court of the United States heard a case today that, to be clear, no one brought to them. The case that was brought to them out of Louisiana was argued last term, did not challenge the underlying constitutionality of the Voting Rights Act. We went through briefing, we went through oral argument, we all waited for a decision by the end of last June in the case that was actually brought by the plaintiffs and the petitioners in that case. Instead, what happened is the Supreme Court decided that it wanted to hear a different case. So it ordered the parties to brief and re-argue a broader question, the question of whether or not Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act remains constitutional, and if so, how does it get severely limited? And that was what the argument was about today. Like, make no mistake, I never predict with certainty what the outcome of cases will be. You never know what the dynamics are among the justices, but this was a case that was set up to do immense damage to the crown jewel of American democracy, which is what Democrats and Republicans have called the Voting Rights Act for decades. And that is where this court today signaled it wants to go. Again, understanding it may not get there. It may back away from it. It may, at the last minute, decide not to do this. But everyone needs to be clear-eyed that that is what the court is poised to do. And if it does so, it will have dramatically detrimental effect to Black and Hispanic and other minority voting rights. And it will also potentially tilt the balance of power.
Yeah. Mark Elias goes on. So the Viceroy, Mark Elias is worked up. Viceroy, is he correct about this, sir?
And explain to the War Room Posse what's going on here. After the Civil War, we enacted the Civil War amendments to the Constitution. The 13th Amendment, which outlawed slavery. The 14th Amendment, which provided due process and equal protection to the freed slaves, and the 15th Amendment, which provided voting rights to the freed male slaves. That was extended to women in 1920 under the 19th Amendment. And as part of Congress's civil rights reforms in the 1960s, we had the Voting Rights Act of 1965 that Congress enacted pursuant to the 15th Amendment, which the 15th Amendment outlaws intentional racial discrimination in voting, right? And what we've seen since 1965 are these activist judges have misinterpreted the Voting Rights Act of 1965, Section 2, to create these DEI districts, these House districts where you have Black or Hispanic Democrats who control these districts. And let's just be very plain here. Mark Elias, these other Democrats do not care about minority representation. They care about Democrat representation. If we had a Black member of Congress who's a Republican, they would chase that Black member of Congress out yesterday. So let's just be very clear with what we're dealing with here. So this is before the court. Louisiana has a map where they had 6 districts. One of them was majority minority. One of them was a Black district out of the 6. The courts challenged, they challenged this in the courts, and then they came to 2 districts, right? And now it's before the court, and the Supreme Court heard oral argument today whether under Section 2, if you're considering race as the issue, whether that violates the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment and violates the 15th Amendment's guaranteed of outlaw of intentional racial discrimination in voting. It looks like the Supreme Court is finally going to end this Democrat charade where they have these DEI districts that, again, they don't care. These Democrats do not care about racial discrimination. They care about Democrat power. And so the Supreme Court, I think, is going to hold that this interpretation of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 that requires DEI districts violates the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment and maybe the 15th Amendment. That's where this is likely heading. And that means that the Congressional Black Caucus and the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, these 2 Democrat caucuses, are going to get a lot smaller.
They know, with all the discussion of how gun-decked the census was and doing a new mid-decade census where you're taking out illegal aliens and getting the algorithm right, or just, and do our massive redistricting, which we're working on every day to get us the 21 gross amount of districts realigned or votes realigned. Coupled with this, it's a kill shot on the Democratic Party, right? I mean, there's no way they can come back from both of them, sir.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. They want congressional power to be based off of illegal aliens and DEI districts. And it's very racist what these Democrats are arguing. They are arguing that Black Americans need a Black member of Congress to represent them, right? That is racism in itself. And that's what Justice Clarence Thomas, who actually grew up dirt poor in the Deep South during Jim Crow segregation, Justice Clarence Thomas, the conservative hero of the court, that's what he pointed out to me. If you look at the breakout just based upon oral argument, it looks like you have Justice Thomas, Justice Alito, and Justice Gorsuch, my old boss, based upon their questioning today, who are going to say that you can never use race when you're considering these congressional districts. You can't have DEI districts. You may have Justice Kavanaugh, who signaled today that maybe there was a time and a place for these DEI districts, but that time and place has since gone away, like they did with affirmative action with college admissions. And it comes down to the Chief Justice and Justice Amy Coney Barrett. It seems to me that they're largely going to get rid of these DEI districts unless there is evidence of intentional racial discrimination, which would trigger Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And I think that's the only way, if you have strong evidence of intentional racial discrimination in voting, that you're ever going to have a remedy under Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act for these race-based districts. And so I would say to the Congressional Black Caucus, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, pack your bags, because about 1/3 of you are going to lose your jobs.
What happened, or you're a court guy, what happened in the court today, either in the arguments and or the questions? Because these folks are worked up. Mark a lot, and tonight's even going to get worse because they're getting a little time to work it. But I got to tell you, coming out this afternoon, man, oh man, they are mad as hornets on this thing. Something happened. It just wasn't the way the thing was brought, as Elias lays out. But clearly they did not have a good day on the field, sir.
Because Democrats only care about power. They don't care about Black Americans. Democrats have trapped Black Americans in fatherless homes, the failed government school monopoly, crime-ridden neighborhoods, and intergenerational poverty for decades. If these Black DEI Democrats, if these congressmen actually represented their constituents like they pretend they do, they wouldn't trap their constituents in intergenerational poverty like they've done for decades. People like Mark Elias know that they have to stir the racial pots to get people worked up. And maybe they're going to try to do the Dobbs approach, where they try to scare the hell out of these justices in their homes again, like they did before the Dobbs abortion ruling, because killing babies provides the financial resources to the Democrat Party. Planned Parenthood monopoly funds a lot of the Democrat Party and the outside groups. Mark Elias and these Democrats know that if they don't have these DEI districts, they're going to lose a lot of power and a lot of money. So that there's a lot at stake for the Democrat civil rights industry and the Democrat Party more broadly.
Mike Davis, Article 3, the Viceroy, you've done an amazing job now more than ever, because we're in this fight about the president's powers and about other changes, the 14th Amendment. We will not get this. We will not get this ruling until June. You think it'll come earlier so that people can actually start doing primaries, et cetera? Expect this is one of the ones they give and then get out of town?
No, I think they're going to have to decide this in January, because they need to be able to set the districts for the midterm election. So I don't think they're going to wait till June on this one.
Mike Davis, social media and Article 3, where do people go, sir?
Yeah, Hakeem Jeffries, good luck winning back that majority after this ruling by the Supreme Court. It's Article 3 Project, article number 3, project.org. You can follow us on social media. Donate, but only what you can afford, and take action into Hakeem Jeffries. Your DEI districts are going away, buddy.
Mike Davis, thank you for taking time away today. Appreciate you.